congratulations on getting back here once again, and give me a sense of where you think your team's at. Certainly a huge series you had in dethroning the defending Calder Cup champion Grand Rapids Griffins. Tell me about the confidence you think that you guys maybe have picked up by beating Grand Rapids out.
Well, Grand Rapids had a real good team. They're real well coached, some high-end players that play real well. So it was a real tough series for us. But I think, when you have a series like that, if you're going to get through it, you have to get better. So we felt we did get a little bit better as the series went on, and they certainly pushed us, and hopefully it'll help us in the future.
Well, I tell you what, I'm looking at the numbers here, at the statistics, and certainly when you look at the numbers for your hockey club, it's really no surprise that Travis Morin certainly leads the team in points with 10 points in 9 games. The kid that really jumps off the page at me, Willie, is Brendan Ranford. Brendan, who, of course, is the nephew of Bill Ranford. NHL fans will recognize that, certainly. But Brendan had, 12 goals for you during the regular season. All of a sudden, he's got 7 in 9 Calder Cup playoff games. And, you've been around this sport long enough to know that when the postseason rolls around, sometimes it takes those unexpected X-Factor type heroes to step forward, right?
Oh, it does for sure. And, we're fortunate, I think, with, Brandon, at the start of the year, we weren't sure where he'd fit on our team or if he would even fit. And for him to come in and play that well is just such a bonus at this time of year, because he's played with Morin's line, and when you're playing on that line, you're going to draw a lot of attention. And he was still able to find a way to score, and really was a big factor in both our series.
We are joined by Willie Desjardins, head coach of the Texas Stars. Texas getting set to open up their Calder Cup Western Conference Final Series with the Toronto Marlies coming up on Friday. As well, Willie, it's been interesting to note that you've used both goaltenders here during the playoffs. And, some coaches like to roll with one guy, and other coaches like to kind of go back and forth and to go with the 2-goalie system. And that's kind of what's changed here in the sport the last couple of decades, I think, as compared to the old days, so to speak. But you've got 2 viable options, certainly, in goal. Christopher Nilstorp and Jack Campbell. Dallas Stars fans are certainly familiar with each of those netminders. Tell me about their play and the options that you have between the pipes.
Yeah, I've always been a guy that's only gone with one goaltender. This is the first time I've ever gone with 2, and I wouldn't go with 2 unless both were playing so well. And I think you're right. I think just with the wear and tear on the body and that, it's a lot harder for one guy to kind of go all the way. So we're real fortunate in Austin. We had 2 good goaltenders, and that last probably month of the season, we just alternated, and both guys played real well.
Willie, I've got to ask you, the second time in the last 5 years here, the short history of the Texas Stars franchise there, of course, that you guys have reached this point. What's the atmosphere like down there? Because you've had a tremendous amount of success there the last couple of seasons for sure, and I know fans down in the Lone Star State seem to embrace this time of the year because you guys often are having success at this time of the season. Give me a sense of the fan base and how they're looking at this series coming up.
Well, it's real good. We have a real good fan base here, and it's a great place to play. We got a real good rink. It's not big, but that kind of helps too. We're getting about 4,000 fans, and they're loud, real loud. So it's exciting. The weather's great. You can come in, you can have your tailgate party outside, you can do whatever, because it's really a great time of year. So our fans embrace it. They're excited about it, and the good thing about playoff hockey, you see such good people coming in. All the opponents are great player or teams, and it's a good chance, for us to kind of showcase our league.
Well, the Calder Cup playoffs has been about the 2-3-2 format here this season again. What do you think of that format, first of all? And does that affect your approach to the series, knowing that you've got the 2 on home ice, and it puts a lot of pressure on you, certainly, to hold serve, because then you're coming to Toronto for 3. How does that affect the series?
Well, I think, in the playoffs or coaching, it's whatever you have to make it work for you, because you're not going to change it. So the only thing you can do is make it work in your favor. And if you get out to a good start, then it's always hard to beat a team 3 times in a row wherever in the series. So for us, it's got to be game 1, and we got to focus on game 1 and then take it game by game, because Toronto's a good team, and it's tough going into their building if they can close it out at home. So we have to make sure we're good at home.
Well, tell me about the opposition here. Steve Spott's team is 7-0 in the Calder Cup playoffs here. They've been off for about a week. By the time you get going at the Cedar Park Center coming up on Friday night, Willie, they will have had a week off. Clearly, you want to jump on these guys early, but they've made a habit of scoring the first goal in the hockey game, which, as we know, at any level is very, very important. So tell me about the Marlies and the challenge that they're going to present for you starting on Friday.
Well, they've been real good. I don't think they've been behind in the playoffs yet. They've scored first, I think, in all 7 games. But more than that, they've been able to, never fall behind. So they've played real well. They played well late in the year. Steve Spott does a great job coaching. His teams are always real competitive and hungry at this time of year. So I don't know. They're you look at their lineup. They got a lot of drafted players in that lineup, and they're pretty deep throughout their lineup. Like, it's not like you can look and go, well, we can go after this spot on it, or we can go after that part of it. They're good throughout. They got good goaltending. Their defense is big and mobile. They got and their forwards are deep. So they got a real good team. And obviously, if you've swept 2 series, you must be a good team. I
was hearing T.J. Brennan, who's been an outstanding story on the blue line for the Marlies this season, as you know, Willie. I was hearing him talk yesterday about your team, saying that you're a formidable foe and you're an experienced team and that sort of thing. How much does Calder Cup playoff experience, do you think? How much does an older team maybe mean at this stage of the season when it comes to your perspective?
I think experience always helps. There's so many things that you can't teach, and you have to be ready. Like with playoffs, you just have to play your game and then forget about it and move on to the next game. And I think experience allows you to do that, where you don't live on each moment as long, and I think you learn from that in the past. So I think experience is important, but I think both teams have experienced guys in their roster. So, and I think it's more important with your leaders and your leadership group, because they're the ones that'll help you keep things in perspective and keep you going forward.
Well, with a couple of days off here, knowing, of course, your affinity and your passion for junior hockey as well, you're no stranger to the Memorial Cup. Have you had the opportunity to actually tune into a few minutes to keep tabs on the Memorial Cup in London, Ontario?
I have. It's exciting. Isn't the good thing about it, or the interesting thing, is that you never know. Like, you look at one team who's kind of maybe had a good game, and you think, well, that team's going to dominate or whatever, and it just changes so quickly. And it's a good time for those young players. Like, they're just being able to show what they can do, and it's been it looks like it's been a real good tournament so far. I haven't been able to see any games live or anything like that, or even watch them, but I've just followed the scores, and it looks like all the teams are real competitive.
Yeah, London, Ontario does a bang-up job at hosting the Memorial Cup, as they did back in 2005 and as they're doing here in 2014. Just before I let you go, Willie, I know you're focused on the job at hand, and that's facing the Marlies in Game 1 on Friday night, but I've got to ask you, you've won at every level of hockey that you've coached at. Your name has been kicked around in regards to the Vancouver head coaching position, which I'm sure is a flattering thing for sure. Give me a sense as to what the future holds for you, and what about the Canucks?
Oh, it is flattering. Vancouver's got such a great franchise, and it's been a team that's always been right around it. So it is a great franchise. But for me, I just have these playoffs to worry about, and I got to focus on that. And after that's over, then we'll kind of look around and see what's going on. But for right now, I just have to worry about Steve Spott and the Marlies, and that'll be enough.
Yeah, well said. Your resume speaks for itself, though, Willie. Thanks very much for joining us. Always a pleasure to talk with you, Willie, and best of luck starting on Friday in Game 1.
Okay, thanks, Scott. You have a good day.